Hello all and welcome back to our Take 2, our exhibition round in between Season 4 and Season 5 for Wheel-to-Wheel Racing. We were experiencing some technical difficulties, but we appear to have rectified them, and we are now ready to bring you guys the action technical difficulty free. G'day Squidly, good luck in the race tonight. You're showing some good pace in practice, so bring home a result for us. Or just crash into a bunch of people and give us some stuff to commentate on. The choice is yours. Alright, so we're just waiting for everyone to join the lobby again, and we'll get straight back into the action. A few people just trying to find the lobby to join. I dare say we are not far away from starting and bringing you guys 5 minutes of qualifying around Dragon Trail Seaside Reverse. For those that may have missed the other little stream we did before we had technical difficulties, I'm Footnow. I'm going to be one of your commentators tonight. With me we've got Pagani Trixo. Is Pagani still here with us?
Yep. And on visuals, we've also got Fine Moves.
Fine Moves doing a great job at bringing you guys the fantastic visuals you're seeing right now on screen as we watch Con go under the bridge towards the Death Chicane. It's going to be a talking point of the races tonight, I reckon, the old Death Chicane. As we see, we've got a victim there already. Just have a look who's in the lobby. Yeah, we're slowly filling up, but not far away from some action, everyone. Apologies for the delays, but there's nothing you can do when you got GT Sport, right? Some of the old school motorsport enthusiasts may notice a few of the liveries floating around as well. A lot of our members seem to get some inspiration from the old school motorsport liveries, such as Rip Doc there in third, putting some practice laps down. He's got the old Jaguar livery from the old school Le Mans Jag.
Silk livery, yep.
That's the one. I was racking my brain trying to remember it. Normally I'm pretty good with that kind of stuff, but... Rexy also notable livery in that Ford with the Vodafone Stone Brothers Racing livery there. Nice chrome and burnt orange maybe, I'm not even sure what kind of colour that is. But well executed to match all the patterns onto that Mustang. Squidly there in fifth with his custom-made livery with some German inspiration. Squidly gave me the permissions to get the art car livery on mine, so he's ended up with that one. That turned out fantastic.
Obviously, we've got some new manufacturers here. I think, for example, we've got the Jaguar, which is a manufacturer we haven't really seen all too often around here. What do you think
McLaren
in terms of and the McLaren as well? Sorry, yeah. What do you think in how they compete in terms of the already familiar manufacturers within the Wheel-to-Wheel League?
I think a lot of the manufacturers that typically weren't very popular, such as possibly the McLaren and the Jag, with the series of BOP updates they've had over the last couple of months, they're really evening out the playing field, and we're tending to see more and more of those previously unused manufacturers come into play. So I think the Jag and the McLaren are going to be something to watch this season. We've got some great drivers in those teams as well. They'll be able to adapt to any vehicle they get in, really, and just start pushing out some great times.
We've got Rexy who spun it near the end of the lap.
Big moment there from Rexy.
I think that part of the track where he's slipped up on is probably the most difficult part of the track to execute properly.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
Chicane, he's probably very close behind.
Yeah, both Death Chicane probably requires more of a high level of commitment, whereas the downhill S's is probably just a bit harder to get right, I'd say. It's very easy just to drift slightly wide, and you don't have a lot of time to change the direction of the car. So as the car's transitioning its weight from a left to a right, you've really got to get that right to hook up that section. When the cars are full of fuel and heavy, or on old tyres, that becomes even more difficult than it originally is.
There's one car you think that will struggle here. I know we've previously discussed a car that would probably thrive on the Dragon Trail track. Which manufacturer do you think would struggle around here?
That's an interesting question. You know, a lot of cars tend to have a disadvantage of maybe top end speed, but then have more cornering abilities, and vice versa. Dragon Trail has a little bit of a straight high speed section, but a lot of cornering, a lot of different corners, flowing sweepers to chicanes to hairpins. They've got a bit of a mix of everything, on camber, off camber, all of the above. I think that's why the 86 is going to thrive, and I think the car that will probably struggle the most, in my opinion, which it may not be correct because I haven't actually driven the car, I'm just basing it on practice times I've seen, is probably going to be the McLaren here.
Possibly, yeah. Obviously the MR cars are a bit more of a handful to control, not only in the GR3 but also in the GR4. The McLaren is the NMR car. It will be a bit more tail happy coming out of the corners. But obviously, it's one of those cars where if you can tame it, you get rewarded greatly for it.
Yeah, and the Audi as well, being front-wheel drive in the GR4, I think that might scrub a bit too much of its front tyres to be competitive in the later stages of the stints.
Yeah.
So we've got qualifying underway here, everyone. We've finally got underway. Hopefully no more technical difficulties. So now we'll watch the boys wrestle these cars around for 5 minutes around Dragon Trail Seaside Reverse. Those who are going to end up at the top are going to be the ones who risk it all through the chicane and get the downhill sweeping section right. So you've got to find that balance between, fast lap commitment and not bidding the car through that chicane. That's going to be the key element to piecing a fast lap together around here. And with 5 minutes, you've only got about 2 attempts to do it, I reckon, for most of the field. Some people may get 3 hot laps. Some of those who are out in front now. But you're going to find the boys try and separate and find some space before they start their first hot lap. As we just see GRT dive bombs go around second. So a few guys close together now. They will spread out and find some time. You don't want to be held up by the car in front during qualifying. Qualifying typically not known for its strategy play, but it can actually be quite strategic. We do have slipstream settings on. Oh, Hammy's had a moment. Hammy's gone into the fence on his out lap. That's going to result in a bit of damage, but we've got the damage set to light, so that will cure itself before the start of the next lap. He's just going to have to focus on cleaning those tyres up. You're not going to set a fast lap on dirty tyres there.
Cable running pretty wide coming out of the last chicane.
Yeah, jumping up to Con there in first. He's under some pressure from GRT dive bombs on their first lap. I'm not sure if these boys... Oh, Con pulls out of it. So Con sacrificed his out lap there for GRT, who's also sacrificed a bit of speed, taking a narrow line there. A little bit more communication between those boys, and they both could have been on a great hot lap now, but we'll move on. Next in line's Nightwalker in that McLaren. Be interesting to see what Nightwalker does. He's a great driver on his tyres and fuel, but they tend to be not so much of a consideration in the GR4 in my experience. They tend to use a lot less fuel than their GR3 counterparts, and in turn, a lot less tyre wear. Everyone else seems to be pretty well spaced, which is good to see. A few people trying to just pick up a little bit of slipstream, get that bit of advantage. But of course, in doing so, you do open yourself up to dirty air, which can affect the aero of the car. It doesn't come into play too much in a GR4, but it is still there and noticeable. Who's your money on for the pole position, Pagani?
Well, I'm looking at Ripdoc right now, and he's got the slipstream behind Squidly, who's up ahead in the BMW M4. And if he can sustain that slipstream, that toe, and also be within able to control that dirty air, we could probably see a really good time from Ripdoc. But excluding him, I would probably say my money is on GRT dive bombs. I honestly think the top speed of that car could show his strength on this track.
I think you might be right. Ripdog's really in that slipstream range with Squidly. That's really going to benefit him. But yeah, GRT dive bombs in that Audi, not enough laps to really wear the front tyres out, so he's going to really benefit from the speed of that Audi at the moment. As we get Ripdoc to the top by 3/10. So Squidly's pulled out of it and let him go. Squidly sacrificed possibly another attempt at a fast lap there. We got Rex, who's also pulled off to the side, maybe having a moment that we missed there. Who else is still pushing? We got Con, who sacrificed his last lap for GRT dive bombs to go through, so Con's going to be looking to rectify that, currently sitting in 5th. Marchie Boy down in 12th, having a big moment at the end of the chicane there. Just coming on to start a hot lap, and he's just lost all his momentum there. He's got some engine damage. It doesn't look like he's gonna be up there. Not gonna be able to better his 12th. He will get another attempt at a fast lap, but he's not started it.
Oh, is he gonna get it?
He want to be.
I only just got it.
No, he didn't. He's out.
No, he didn't.
He didn't quite get it.
Are on.
So K-Boy looks like he's gone for a pit stop. He hasn't set a lap yet, so he's going to be one to watch in that Mustang. He looks like he's gone on for a fresh set of boots, and he's putting all his eggs in one basket here. Navigating that downhill S section very nicely. You want to stay as left as you can here and really open this corner up. He's done that beautifully there. So GRT Dive Bombs has gone to the top. He's managed to better Ripdoc's previous time. 1:47 flat is an absolutely lightning time. I think that's going to be faster than some of the boys we've seen Div 1 as well.
We've got Hammy and Rebel into the line now. 48.8 and a 49.4. There's some solid times, obviously not top of the qualifying leaderboard.
Rexy's had a moment. Rexy's had a moment at their final chicane. He's found the fence. K-Boy managed to cross the line for 6th place there with a 48.8. So not quite hooking up his lap there, old K-Boy, but, that's the risk you take when you leave it to one lap dash at the end. Everyone's finished their laps now, so the order you see there on the left of your screen, that is going to be the order to start the race. Very important for everyone to get away cleanly, and really important to make sure you're in single file before you approach the death chicane there. So race 8 is going to be 8-lap race is going to be starting in this order, and then our 17-lap race, which we'll bring to you shortly after that, is going to be reverse grid, which is going to be even more interesting. Good effort there from Squidly, bringing it home in 4th, only 6.5 tenths off the leading time. So the top of the field, pretty compressed there. They're going to be looking to work together and build a bit of a gap to a battle pack behind them, just so they isolate themselves and can challenge for the lead at the end without having too many other cars involved.
We're waiting on Troy, I think.
Yeah, when someone exits to the pits, it unfortunately does make the timer count all the way down.
So we know how important pole position is in racing in general. But obviously there's some tracks where attaining a pole position isn't really as beneficial as it should be. Would you believe that Dragon Trail is one of those tracks in terms of maybe second place?
I think turn 1 is probably a bit too close for any sort of slipstream to take effect. Given that pole does also have the inside line for that, even though there's a right-handed kink, which you technically have the outside for, I don't think it's as much of an impact to warrant second place being better. So in some tracks, yeah, third is probably the best place to be because you get that slipstream. So we'll jump on board with GRT dive bombs here for the start. This is our first race in GR4. We're not sure how all the cars launch. It's not a great launch. Ripdog's had an absolute flyer of a launch there, stealing first position away. GRT dive bombs straight down to 5th from pole, now 6th.
Yeah, everyone navigating pretty good with getting a really good launch. And come we said with the front wheel drive Audis.
So we're all approaching the dash chicane now. Find your single file, boys. Concede a position, take the position, whatever you want. There's no passing here. Oh, we've got trying to go side by side. Everyone's through clean so far. We've got a little bit of fence rubbing, but no big moments. Oh no, I said that. Ripdog's managed to lose his positions through the dash chicane. So Ripdog finding the fence a bit too hard there. A bit of damage on his front left. As we've got Rex go around. Rex in the fence. Looked like he just grabbed a little bit too much of the grass on the outside. That's just speared him across there.
So giving the lead to... You have no traction control, so we're really pushing these drivers to the limit.
So Squidly's inherited the lead, which has just been taken away from him by Ripdog. Oh, it's all argy-bargy around there. Squidly's now found the fence as a result of that contact. It's all kicking off here, but we've got Ripdog managing to find the lead again after absolutely barging his way through Squidly, trying to take the outside around the first right-hander, having the inside for the left, and then just unfortunately finding contact with Squidly. Nightwalker's managed to get himself up into second place. Keep your nose clean and you will get results, as Nightwalker's now proving. Con under some pressure from GRT dive bombs there. GRT trying to make up for that terrible start he had earlier. Got to be careful not to burn out too much of his front tyres here. We've got 8 laps and I don't think we'll see many pit stops. I don't think pit stops going to be the fastest strategy here. He's looking up the inside, it's not quite there.
Tuck back in behind him.
Shuts that door.
So Ripdog to be a very good defender, so no surprise. Bit of contact with K-Boy and GRT dive bombs coming out of turn 1.
Yeah, as K-Boy's looking to take the move. No, he slots in behind. Smart move, K-Boy. You don't want to fight that into the chicane there. So everyone's still single file, still keeping it clean. A little bit of sparks flying around, but it's clean. So we've got Ripdog still holding on to the lead there from Nightwalker. Third is Con, who's under pressure from GRT now. He's managed to take that position from him. So next on GRT's radar is Nightwalker. He's looking to get that move done sooner rather than later. Oh, as there's contact, he's gone into the back of Nightwalker and forced the car to get loose. It's all kicking off here. Everyone else in the background keeping it pretty smooth and steady.
Also coming through the downhill S's. Bit of contact with Troy.
And Hammy's looking to capitalise on that now as he's trying to send it up the inside of both of them. We're 3 wide into the downhill left. Hammy's managed to make that stick. And Rexy's gone off. Oh no, that's a bit of lag, sorry. So GRT dive bombs managed to find his way up to second now. He did make that move on Nightwalker's stick. Now putting the pressure on Ripdog there. The top speed of that Audi really coming through now as they're starting the 3rd lap of 8. Absolutely pulling car lengths on that Jaguar there. Is Ripdog looking to send it up the inside into turn 1?
Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah,
he is. Dive bombs gives him the space. Great racing, everyone. Keeping it clean. You don't want too much contact early on and fall down the order while everyone's all bunched up. So the top 8 currently separated by 2 seconds. So it's still anyone's race.
Oh, no, and someone else, I think that was a McLaren as well. Nightwalker, I think, also hit the wall in the dash chicane. Probably got distracted by
got a replay there, boys. Got a replay.
Yeah, we'll bring a replay of that. Too wide through the dash chicane very rarely works. It is not an advisable attempt there. So there we see Drive Bombs pulls out. He's looking to take it too wide.
Nice.
He's not conceding. As they just touch.
I believe GRT should have pulled out from there.
I am inclined to agree with you. I don't think that was ever going to work, and if it was going to work, if you did get through there cleanly, the reality is you would lose too much speed and you'd get jumped by the guys behind. There's places to make a move and there's places that aren't. Unfortunately, that is a place that's not possible to make a move. It is always the smarter option to sit behind the car in front, because just taking too wide through there, you're going to lose too much speed.
It's just got bet from worst from bad to worse for Ripdoc, as he's lost it coming onto the top part of the section after that right left-hander.
The benefit here for poor Ripdoc is, back down at 11th.
K-Boy as well.
He's 19 seconds away from K-Boy there. Oh, he's going to be closer to K-Boy now. Ripdoc's going to be able to start up near the front for the reverse grid race, and he has shown some great pace, obviously, in qualifying, and sticking it out in front for a bit. So Ripdoc's going to be one to watch in the next race. But yeah, that incident has given GRT Dive Bombs the lead here. So he's going to be looking to pull away from everyone. He's got Con close on his toe. Squidley's jumped up into third. Squidley capitalising on an earlier contact. Jumping up into third. 3.5 seconds off Con. So he's going to be bringing all these guys in his toe, trying to get onto the back of Con, who's trying to latch onto the back of GRT Dive Bombs and not let that gap get too big so he doesn't have the slipstream.
He's up by 0.3. Whitney on the fastest lap.
So lap 4 and GRT has a great amount of tyre wear. That Audi absolutely murdering its front tyres. It is possible he is pushing hard because he knows he's going to pit. Will be interesting to see if GRT Dive Bomb pits this lap. Or he may have done enough practice and worked out that he doesn't lose too much time with the worn fronts. Squidley managing to bridge a bit of a gap to the guys behind him, possibly having some contact by the looks of that. Missed that action. As Nightwalker comes out in front of that battle. The race seems to be settling down a little bit, which is good. A few cars still in proximity having some battles, but we're not having some outrageous moves anymore. Everyone's learning the hard way here.
What a good battle from 4th to, I believe, 8th position here, with Hammy in 9th, trading a little bit behind.
As Rebel's trying to take 4th away from Nightwalker around the outside of that corner. It's going to give Nightwalker the inside for turn 1. Rebel's still looking to stick it around the outside there in that Jaguar.
He's moved up into 7th position. He's alongside with Antichrist.
Nightwalker's slotting in behind the chicane. He's not going to send it too wide like GRT Dive Bombs did. Smart driving there, Nightwalker. Everyone backing off just a little bit through the chicane, making sure they navigate it cleanly.
As previously mentioned by Fortner, the Dirty Air is not as great within the GR4s compared to the GR3s, but obviously it's still there, especially for the depth chicane, which in these cars is pretty much a flat out section, believe it or not. And that slight amount of dirty air can sort of throw you off coming to the depth chicane and can pretty much ruin your race if you miscalculate it properly. If you miscalculate that.
Definitely can. As Rebel Dixie, has finally managed to take 4th away from Nightwalker. It took him half a lap. They were side by side for the majority of the race, but majority of the lap. They finally settled 4th and 5th there. Antichrist looking to keep the inside against Rexy there. Rexy looking to stick it around the outside, which is successful. Rexy managing to take 6th position away from Antichrist around the outside. So we'll stick with this battle pack for a bit. This is very intense stuff as Nightwalker's sending a move up the inside. He pulls out of it just in time to not create contact. As I say that, he's stuck it up the inside again there. So once again, Nightwalker and Rebel Dixie going side by side, with Rexy looking to capitalise, Antichrist in the Jaguar, and Troy in the Mercedes, all there with him. I don't think you're going to see 5 cars cross the line in a shorter time span than you are right now. This is absolutely insane stuff.
And they've been like this for pretty much the whole race.
Yeah, that's correct. Like Rebel turned in a little bit early, caught the tail end of Nightwalker there, which has given Rexy the chance to slide up the inside. So Rebel Dixie down 2 positions in a series of corners. Rex just slipping in last minute to navigate the death chicane side by side. So we'll just jump up to 3rd with Squidly there, who's currently putting a move on Con, trying to go around the outside. So Squid's actually made up a bunch of time here. He's nearly 4 seconds down. He's now taken the position from Con. He's now given it back. And they're only 2.6 seconds off of the leader, whose tyres are absolutely worn at the moment. So Con's going to have to bring out all of his defending skills. He's going to have his textbook open, reading his plays. Squid's going to have to try and outsmart him here. It's going to be hard to pass on pace alone down a straight. Squid's looking for all the options here. He's trying everything he can. He doesn't want to let GRT dive bombs drive too far away in the distance there. These are the moments where sometimes, you know, it is smarter as the driver in 2nd place to let 3rd go, and it'll pull you along in the slipstream. Racing is a bit of a chess game at times. Got Ripdoc down in 11th there, still putting around the track after having some contact going into the death chicane with GRT dive bombs. Credit to Ripdoc for sticking it out there. He's just going to cruise around the track in 11th, and he's going to yield a 2nd place start in race 2 if it all pans out the way it currently sits.
Really good battle here between Squidly and Con, coming out of the death chicane pretty much bumper to bumper.
Yeah, Squid's looking to send it around the outside. There's contact from Con. Squid does have the inside for the next corner, and he does have a bit more drive out of the corners by the looks of that. He seems to have comfortably taken that position now, unless Con wants to argue it around the outside.
I think what these guys should be doing right now is focusing on trying to work together and catch up this dive bomb, because there was a point at the beginning of this lap where they were only 2.4 behind. And now by looking at the delta, they're 3.1.
Yeah, you're definitely right there. That was very costly, as they're losing even more time now with even more moves. So Con's fighting for position. They've both written off the win, I reckon. They just want that 2nd place. If they didn't battle so much early, they may have both been in for a shot of 1st, but I think they've lost that opportunity, and now it's just going to be a straight out fight for 2nd. Squidly gets a nice little undercut there, just lacking the drive to pull away from there. Tucking into Con to get a bit more slipstream, maybe looking to send a move into turn 1, although I dare say we'll see Con go very defensive. Squidly also with a lot more fuel than Con, which is looking promising for that BMW coming into Season 5. We will have to see a pit stop in race 2. I don't think many of the cars are going to get around the lap without get around the race without needing some fuel, and especially tyres.
I think the only car that possibly could do a no fuel is probably Troy HQ1 in the Mercedes. He's only just past halfway. And
Mercedes is very good on its fuel.
I can guarantee you he's been redlining that thing in every year.
Yeah, Mercedes isn't great in the top speed, which is good that it's balanced with the low fuel usage. So that's going to be a car to watch in the longer races. May suffer in the sprint stuff through not having the speed and obviously carrying more fuel throughout the duration of the race. But in those races with the pit stops, we may see the Mercedes come into its
Another
own.
moment from Ripdoc, I believe. Maybe we can get a replay of that. I think I was coming into the death chicane. We've got front and back damage. Troy HQ is just run a little bit wide, coming up the.
Yeah, so Ripdog having a moment there through the chicane. Not having the greatest race. We'll jump on board for the battle for second and third through these last series of corners though. Con still managing to hold Squidly back. GRT Dive Bombs has just driven away for the win here after a terrible start. Has Squidly got the drive? He's not making up enough time on Con to get that done.
Con's nickname is actually the Great Wall of Con. And I was thinking of that. I can actually now see why. As he does a little bit of a cheeky wiggle coming across the finish line and securing that second position.
And Nightwalker managing to hang on to fourth there, getting under pressure from Rexy. The Rebel Dixie falling back a little bit, but still bringing home sixth with the Antichrist in seventh. They may have had some issues there as they were initially tacked onto that battle for battle for fourth. Hammy rounding out eighth in the Toyota 86 there, not having the greatest of races, but car to watch out for in the next race as he'll be starting further up the grid. J-Boy bringing in ninth after having a moment. Troy must have had a moment towards the end of that lap as well, only coming back in 10th. We missed that one, unfortunately. Ripdog, absolutely heartbreaking race.
I believe.
It's possible. Ripdog with a race to forget. It's the only way you can put that one, really. But he's going to be looking to make a vengeance. He's starting from second, with Marchie Boy starting from pole in the next race. So Ripdog getting that great launch in race 1. He's going to get a great launch again here. And he's going to have his main competition, GRT Dive Bombs, all the way at the back of the grid. So while GRT's fighting through, Ripdog's going to be looking to pull away, create a gap that's not going to be able to be bridged. So with 17 lap race coming up, we do open up the possibility for a 2-stop or a 1-stop. I dare say a no-stop is just not going to be possible with the amount of tyre wear. Maybe you could do it on the fuel. I don't think it's going to be a worthwhile strategy. Maybe some of those cars that are quite heavy on their tyre wear, like the Audi, they may be able to warrant a 2-stop. So 17 not divisible by by 2 or 3 stints. We love our prime numbers here to introduce a bit more complexity to your strategies. But it's going to be a great battle. I don't think too many people have done 17-lap practice races, so I think a lot of guys here are going to be going in on the fly, trying to work out what strategy they want to do. You know, a no-stopper in the 8-lapper doesn't necessarily mean that an 8 and a 9-lap stint is going to be the fastest way in a 17-lapper. You may find that doing a 5, 6, 7 or whatever that adds up to be, that's probably incorrect.
I guess one way to see it is for me and you, because our races after this, and we can probably look at this and take some notes as we enter into our own races and see what's the go-to strategy for race 2.
That's true. Everyone in the chat as well, a lot of Div 1 guys, are also going to be getting this information. So we're all going to learn today, fellas, unless someone has done some strategy intel and can give us some advice.
I think I'm going to get left for dead. I'm supposed to be a Div 2 driver, but I'm here doing some commentary. I'm going to be unfortunately participating with the Div 1 boys, so it'll be good to see how much of a hiding I get from the Div 1 boys, but it'll be good to see where I'm getting outclassed by you guys.
Yeah, so we've just got Ripdoc message to the chat here and Twitch saying he shouldn't watch us while racing. I think that's probably a good idea if you want to keep the car facing the right direction. Unlucky there, Ripdoc. Keen to see what you do in race 2 though. I reckon you're going to be the man to catch. Just maybe don't watch the stream and keep the car straight. Bring home a result for us. Be interesting to see what GRT Dive Bombs does as well. Obviously, we saw that quite aggressive move into the chicane on Ripdoc there. This time, he's going to have 10 or 11 cars to pass. So, is he gonna keep up that aggression, or is he going to dial it back a bit and play the smart long game? So we'll keep an eye on that throughout the race.
I believe he's not going to change his pace whatsoever, because we've seen how strong the Audi is in a straight line. And I think whether he still dials it back a bit or goes harder, he's still probably going to have to do a 2-stopper. So with that being said, it's probably just more worthwhile to just let loose with the car, unless he's more conservative about fuel. But I doubt that'll be the case.
Yeah, it's true. Well, just in a bit of a short break at the moment. We will be bringing race 2 to you very shortly, which, as I've mentioned, is our reverse grid race based on the results of race 1. So we're going to be seeing GRT Dive Bombs, who won the race, starting from the back. And moving forward, we're going to have Con, Squidly, who've managed to have that great 2-lap battle. So they're going to be fighting through the pack together. Nightwalker, who brought home the conservative 4. Following all the way down to Marchie Boy, who just seemed to be a little bit off the pace there. Possibly not doing too many practice laps, but managing to find his feet and get the car around eventually. Starting from pole. You may even see Marchie Boy pull over to the side and just concede first place, just so he doesn't hold people up. It may not be a bad tactic. That way you can just settle down and focus on your own race without having pressure from behind. And Troy HQ starting from 3rd, who also showed some great pace in that Mercedes. And given that you do need some fuel in the pits, I think the amount of fuel saving that he managed to do while keeping that pace up is going to net him a lot of time gain in the pits.
Yeah, most definitely. I think for this race, obviously with there being 2 races, one manufacturer could probably be good in one race, and then another one could be better in another race, just because of a strategy now being involved. And I think it's going to be the case with this race. So we've seen in the race 1, we've seen the Audi be pretty dominant, which is with this top end, with this outright pace, but not having to really warrant a pit stop. But I think now in race 2, unless I'm wrong, but I honestly don't think that Audi can put out the same result in race 2.
I think you're right, especially starting from the back. It's going to be a very big challenge. I do believe it could be possible, but I think he's going to need a little bit of luck in his favour as well. I think Rip Doc, if he manages to keep the car straight, starting from where he is, he's just not going to be able to be caught by anyone. Great pace in qualifying, absolutely flying in some of the practice sessions as well. And if he can just put his head down and just drive his own race without getting too much pressure from behind, I don't think he's going to be caught. It's going to be interesting to see who chooses what strategy. This is the first time we are running a GR4 mixed class in wheel-to-wheel. We've previously dabbled with One Make Exhibition Series, which we ran currently with our main series. But this is new for everyone here in this room, basically. And obviously, those of you who race FIA, you know that you don't get to do 2 races, 2 different races. There's one race in different time slots. So you don't get to open up this kind of strategy game so much like we do here with different lap counts for our different races, as well as reverse grid. So anyone looking to spice up their time on GT Sport, feel free to jump in the league. Come have a battle with some great boys. Tombo watching with a cold one. G'day, Tombo.
Also, for the viewers who are watching the stream right now, don't be shy to ask me or Fortnite some questions about the league, or any questions in particular related to the league, just to keep you guys interested with watching us during this short break between the 2 races.
Yeah, so we won't be too far away. Everyone's entered now, so we're going to be starting our next race. In the meantime, I'm going to take the opportunity to bring you guys another one of Fortner's fun facts. Yeah, I've got to create a jingle. That was very sporadic, but today everyone's going to learn that some cats are also actually allergic to humans. So go and tell your friends and your family, and they'll think you're a genius.
You can say Fortnite told me that.
Oh, come on, Squidly, it wasn't that bad. I bet you didn't know that. Piper, that's just cats being pricks. Piper obviously being a dog person. I'm more of a dog guy. Yeah,
I'm more of a dog guy. I don't blame him.
Yeah, I mean, look, I got to keep my facts acceptable to everyone. I can't be biased. That one's for all the cat lovers out there. Your cat may not just hate you; it may be allergic to you. Ah, oh, come on, guys. I'm trying. Oh, Hammy typing a message out here. Looks like we're going to be starting.
Oh no, Troy's just mucking about.
Everyone jumping in with the answer there. Great to see. Everyone very familiar with the league and how it all works. So all you guys in the chat that are racing Div 1 ladder, you guys all practicing now, or are you just taking the time to relax and watch the stream here? Oh, the chat's taking a turn for the worse. It's straight in the gutter. Oh, no.
Blur it out, blur it out.
Alright, here we go. We've got the final started. Good timing, Hammy. Anyone racing in this race that's in the chat, good luck. Make it interesting. Give us up the commentator on. We've got 17 laps of reverse seaside to bring to you guys. Oh, we've had a late edition of Rob Wid taking pole from Marchie Boy there. Rob Wid in the BMW.
In the first race. I couldn't join in time.
Yeah, okay. I'm not too sure what Rob's pace like, so we're all going to learn that today. I think Ripdog's still going to get off to a great launch in that Jag. That thing seems to be fantastic off the line. And Troy next to him in the Mercedes, arguably one of the best launching cars. Well, Rob looks like he's jumped the start a bit. Yeah, he has. As Ripdog collects the back of him.
Well, yeah.
Oh, no. Terrible start for Rob Wood there. It's allowed Troy to get up to second there as Marchie Boy takes the lead. Ripdog not losing too much time, but down to fourth. He does have front splitter damage, you are correct, because he's tucked in behind K-Boy at the moment, heading down towards the depth chicane.
In the depth chicane, yep.
That definitely will. That damage typically takes about 20 seconds to clear up, so he's going to be wearing that for a little bit. As he's coming under great pressure here from Rebel Dixie. Oh, there's contact in the depth chicane.
Troy's hit the wall, and that's collected, I think, one of the Aston Martins.
So Marchie Boy's slow as well. It looks like Marchie Boy we may get a replay of that if it's not too late. I think we may have seen Marchie Boy in the fence. Which then got collected by K-Boy.
The GRT Dive Bombs is still obviously going for the aggressive tactic. He's already up into fourth position.
So we're bringing the replay. Bringing the replay here. We've got Marchie Boy quite slow through the chicane and managing just to scrape the outside wall there. It looks like K-Boy may have been the instigator. Sorry, not K-Boy. Troy may have been maybe his own undoing. Words are hard. So Hammy apologising to Con mid-race there. As we got Con down in 10th there. Hammy looks like he's lost a bit of time with a redress, dropping down to 13th, and Rob Wynn after that jump start in 12th. We'll jump up the front here with K-Boy, and we'll give you guys a run through now that the positions seem to have settled. GRT Dive Bombs up into second. From lap 1, he's gone last to second. I think all that chaos has really helped him out, and really screwed everyone else.
I think he's capitalised on everyone else making mistakes, and that's the form of tactic I sort of go for. I know you guys have seen some of the races that I've been, and you guys have noticed that with some of the driving, I tend to push really aggressive for the first few laps just to try and capitalise on as many positions as possible. Bit of a moment behind GRT Dive, I think.
The compromise there is you will use a lot more fuel and a lot more tyre and suffer later in the stint. Yeah. So you've really got to be calculated with how and when you do your pushing. As GRT settles in behind K-Boy there through the death chicane, not looking to make the same mistake in 2 consecutive races here. Anyone who's up to date with Twitch, just let me know how I can ban Piper from the chat there. Just trying to figure that one out. Nah, you're alright, Piper.
Started the season off strong. We've got Marchie Boy. Was Marchie Boy in the first race?
Yeah, Marchie Boy was just doing his own thing down the back there.
He was
GRT Dive Bomb
Martin
sending the move around the outside on K-Boy into that downhill sweeping section. Very strong move. He's letting the boys know he's not going to hang around. So he's now going to be looking to push, get that gap out to no slipstream range. And we will keep an eye on the GRT Dive Bomb strategy, whether he pulls in for a 2-stop or a 1-stop. If he's doing a 2-stop, we expect him to pit approximately around lap 5 or 6, probably try and get an undercut effect, or maybe he might utilise the clean track and stay out till about lap 6 or 7 to utilise that clean track.
I think 8 would be pushing it with tyre wear.
Yeah, I think 8 you're going to be seeing one stops.
Yeah,
I think, yeah,
especially with an FF car.
Lap 8 or 9 for the one stop guys. Anything a bit earlier, you'd probably like to see a 2 stop there, as I don't think the undercut's going to be massively strong by pitting on lap 7 for a 1 stop, just based on the tyre wear here. Another quick recap of positions there. GRT Dive Bomb's leading the way in that bright green Audi, followed by K-Boy, who's managing to hang on to that slipstream in his Mustang. Rebel Dixie also in the mix there in the Carl Cox Motorsport Jaguar. Rexy bringing home 4th in the Stone Brothers Vodafone Mustang. Ripdoc is going to be the man to watch, I reckon, here in that great looking Jaguar in 5th, under some pressure now from Squidley in that BMW. Bit of a gap back to Nightwalker, but I wouldn't write Nightwalker off yet. This battle pack of 6 could slow each other down as soon as we get some battles happening. Troy in that Mercedes. Mercedes great on fuel, so he's going to be looking to make some time up in the pits. Con having that moment with Hammy earlier, which we unfortunately missed on the broadcast. Coming home in 10th. Not coming home, sitting there in 10th. Antichrist and his Aston Martin there.
Oh, K-Boy's gone wide, coming out of the downhill section. He's dropped the spot. Hit the guardrail. He's dropped down.
We'll get the replay of that one up, I reckon. We don't want to miss any of the action here.
I believe it was K-Boy. Or it could have been
Rex. Just finished watching Squidley, Ripdoc and K-Boy try and navigate that corner 3 wide. K-Boy just pushing a little bit too early on the throttle there, and it just sucks him out wide on the grass into the fence there. Very easy mistake to do, one that was very common in the practice lobbies, and here we see Nightwalker right on the back of him. So Nightwalker back on this battle pack now. Squidley's managed to find the position on Ripdoc as well. We just cut before that to watch that replay. Squidley right on the back of Rebel Dixie, really pushing to make up some moves there. Still got great tyre life and not using much fuel. As GRT Dive Bombs has managed to accelerate his lead out to 3.8 seconds in just 3 laps. Starting from last position to having a 3.8 second lead at the start of the 4th lap is absolutely insane. Using a lot more tyre, a lot more fuel than the rest of the field though, so will that hurt him later? Squidley managing to find 3rd from Rebel Dixie there.
We've got Nightwalker applying a lot of pressure on Ripdoc.
Yeah, we've got another 5-car battle pack again. Same thing unfolded in race 1.
Might be the same. I think 3 of the drivers here right now were in the previous battle in the race 1.
Oh, Nightwalker with a very ballsy move up the inside, pulling it up in time, taking that position away from Rebel Dixie, who's just managed to fall back into 7th there. Unfortunately, something that does happen in motorsport, you get overtaken for one position and you're just off position for a series of corners and people just keep taking it from you. So Squid 1.2 seconds back from Rex now. 5.5 seconds off the lead from GRT Dive Bombs, who's still increasing that gap out to 4.4 seconds. As we watch Nightwalker taking 4th from Ripdoc.
And then we just get tried for an undercut. Oh no, you couldn't pull it off in time.
Squidley's sitting nice there, 1.2 seconds behind Rex and 1.6 seconds ahead of Nightwalker. So he's got no direct pressure or no one in his slipstream at the moment. Good position for Squidley to be in. As Nightwalker's looking to do the same and try and bridge that gap to Ripdoc there, who's just gone a little bit wide into that left-hander. K-Boy looking to put a move on Ripdoc here. He's got the drive out of the corner. The time's falling down at a rate of knots. He just slipped in though. Not looking to send the move there. Does have the drive out of this corner though, after... Yeah, and he manages to get the move done quite easily there. As Rebel Dixie also looking to capitalise and does do so. So Ripdoc, just one small mistake costing him 2 positions there, going from 5th to 7th. Now getting under pressure from Troy HQ's looking to latch on the back of this battle pack. Jumping up to third, the battle for second, sorry. Squidly closing that gap to Rexy very quickly. He's going to be right on the back of him, gluing his front bumper to Rex's rear bumper any minute now. Looks for the undercut. He just doesn't have the drive against that Mustang though. He's going to slip in, take the death chicane single file. We'll stay on board with this as we watch him navigate the death chicane. Nicely done. Squidly carrying a bit more speed out of it. Looking to...
Oh, Rex is wide. He's caught the dirty part of the road.
He's gathered it up nicely, not like race 1 where he just managed to go around and spear it into the fence. But Squidly has inherited second, as well as a gap back to third that will not see third getting the slipstream. The Squidly being the big winner there. And in all that battling, he has managed to find some time on GRT dive bombs as well. So GRT absolutely murdering his front tyres. Actually managing to save a bit of fuel though, so it looks like he sacrificed a bit of lap time and outright pace to keep the fuel in. Probably a smart move to do when you're up front. I think the tyre wear will struggle as we just see Squidly absolutely pull tenths out of that gap through that sweeping section.
Yep.
So GRT's going to be feeling that pressure. I think right now what's going through his head is he's going to be wondering, should I do a 2-stop?
I mean, around this lap now we should be seeing dive bombs coming to the pits.
If he's going the 2-stop, he is staying out. He is staying out.
I'd be very surprised if he doesn't pull into the next lap.
Squid's managed to take a second out of him in that lap alone. And with 2 more laps to go before we see the pit stops open up for the 1-stop. As we've got a few boys jumping in. Rebel Dixie in the pits, Rexy in the pits. These guys looking to make a 2-stop work. Both of them with reasonable tyre wear. Rex using a fair bit more fuel than Rebel there. So Mustang might be quite a thirsty car in the GR4 trim. They're going to slot out in 10th and 11th respectively, I believe.
I think where we'll see Squidly most pull some time in on dive bombs would probably be through the downhill section. But that's when you need as much grip as possible, as you're carrying a bit more momentum through those quick corners.
Nightwalker doing a great job in third there to keep that gap to Squidly manageable. So Nightwalker with a 3.5 second gap back to K-Boy in fourth there, looking just to keep onto the back of Squidly as best as he can and get pulled towards this battle for first. So possible to jump in for an undercut lap here. You'd expect your competitors to pit after lap 8, splitting this up in an 8 and a 9 lap stint. Pitting on lap 8 gives you 1 lap as an undercut with fresher tyres, so arguably one of the fastest strategies to run with. So there is possible for an extreme undercut here. I'm not sure how well it'll work later on in the race though.
We've got Squidly 2.6 behind dive bombs. He's actually going to set up for another lap.
Yeah, so GRT managing to find his rhythm again and keep it a bit more consistent on that lap. As we see, the lap 6, his time was a 1 minute 50.8, so possibly running wide somewhere, maybe rubbing the wall in the death chicane or something. That's what allowed Squidly really to close that gap up. It's now staying pretty consistent. Nightwalker still doing a good job just to hang on, just keep Squidly in his vision.
We've got Troy HQ pulling to the pits. got some front aero damage. Not sure where that was from.
Yeah, so Troy collecting something late in the lap there, possibly through the final chicane, just dipping a wheel and finding the fence somewhere. But pitting after 7 laps, it's a strong undercut. He's going to have to manage his tyres quite well here, or possibly is doing a 2-stop just with a late pit on the first stint.
Squidly's pulled a second in half a lap on GRT dive bombs.
Yeah, possibly an error there from dive bombs as he's managed to gather the car up and keep the... as he's dipping a wheel there, he's really trying. He's struggling with that grip. You can see his tyre wear. Was that not actually on the telecast? Sorry everyone. GRT dive bombs is pretty much got all of his rear tyres intact, and he's used half of his fronts. Squidly also saving a fair bit more fuel. I think we'll see if these guys pit together. I think we're going to see Squidly jump GRT in the pits.
Yeah.
But then with GRT's early pace on the fresh tyres, we may see a great battle unfold. Race settling down a bit. We don't really have two cars too close together. As we've got Hammy in the fence in 10th. Hammy's managed to find the fence in 10th position there. Looks like just on the end of that sweeping section, he's just dipped. Yeah, he's just got on their power a little bit too early. It's pushed the car out too wide, and he's grabbed the dirt.
We've got dive bombs.
Leaders are in the pits. The leaders are in the pits. The top 6 are in the pits. And Squidly's come out in the middle of GRT dive bombs as they all get overtaken by Con.
Come on the outside, yeah.
Con on old tyres. Is he going to go defensive, or is he going to let these guys go because he knows he's not in this race with these guys at the moment?
I think it'll be a smarter move on Con's behalf to just pull out now, but I think now it's probably a difficult time to pull out. We're approaching a very tight corner.
GRT tucking in. He's not looking to send the move up the inside. As they are absolutely bumper to bumper through here. The Antichrist, who hasn't pit, coming in 4th, so he's probably going to duck into the pit soon and disappear from this battle here. GRT's managed to make the move stick on Con there. Squidly's still back in 3rd, looking to make the same. Not let dive bombs get too far away from him. So GRT is going to be in an interesting headspace now. He's going to be like, should I settle down and save some tyre for later in the race, or should I push and try and bridge a gap? Both probably equally valid strategies, but he's going to be trying to work out which one it is. They've both got their pros and their cons. Squidly still trying to get around Con though, just not being able to make it happen yet. Con playing defensive in a race that he's probably arguably not in at the moment, as Squidly finally manages to get the drive out with those fresh tyres. He's lost 1.3 seconds to GRT in that series of events though.
I don't think it's going to hustle in too much. As we've seen towards the end of both the stints, Squidly and dive bombs, so you can see Squidly was slowly catching up to dive bombs. So I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem for Squidly at the moment. I could be wrong, but as of right now, I don't think that'd be much of a problem. As we see Con pulling to the pits.
And Antichrist staying out. Antichrist, who's inherited 3rd place, staying out. He's just enjoying the clean track at the moment, I reckon.
We've got one of the new guys, Rollbid 91, who's still yet to go into the pits. He's just looking at under a quarter of a tank and probably half on the front for tyre wear. Could probably pull into the pits on this lap. I'd be very surprised if he hasn't done so. He probably could be trying a one-stopper. I just don't think he's got the pace to do a one-stopper. If he's put into the pits now.
Well, anyone pitting now is probably going to be on a one-stop, because I can't see anyone pitting with 7 laps to go. But just looking back here in 4th and 5th, they've both pit together on the same lap. K-Boy managing to find a little bit more time than Nightwalker. That gap was nearly 4 seconds before those pit stops. So the K-Boy probably just settling down, using a little bit less fuel and making the time up in the pits. But Nightwalker is effectively 3rd on track once we see a pit stop on the Antichrist, who's just hit the fence in the same area. We thought the death chicane was going to be the talking point, but it turns out the final right-hander on the sweeping section is. Very worn tyres from Antichrist, who's now got some damage from contact with the fence. I think we're definitely going to see him in the pits now.
Yeah, he's just washed out wide. I think that's just all down to tyre wear.
Yeah, so Nightwalker's definitely going to take his third position back. K-Boy's going to jump straight up into fourth. We're possibly even going to see Rexy and Ripdog, who are having a great battle here, both go up in position as well. So Ripdog really putting the pressure on Rexy here, moving all over the track, just trying to make his little blue triangle be seen in the radar to put the pressure on Rexy to make a mistake. As Rex does just one slightly wide there, he has lost the position momentarily to Ripdog. He has definitely lost the position. Ripdog absolutely powering around the outside. So they've all passed Antichrist in the pits. Con's managed to pit again as well, and he's now in 7th. Not a bad drive from Con. Early contact with Hammy somewhere based on what the chat messages were. Managing to claw his way back up to 7th. I can't find Marchie Boy in here. I think Marchie Boy may have left the race in this one.
Yeah, he may have. Oh, yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, we got Rob Witt bringing the rear in. Rob Witt didn't race in race 1. I think he missed the entry for the lobby, so he's possibly had no practice and just trying to figure it all out now. Hammy, who's had a bit of a race to forget, had some contact and he's managed to find the fence as well by himself.
Within the 1 second gap of GRT dive bombs. Coming near the end of lap 11.
Oh yeah, Squidly looks like he's pushing quite hard there. Tyre wear pretty even between the two, so I think we're seeing GRT try and race a bit smarter. I think he learned from his first stint and how quickly Squid was able to make the gap up that he needs to drive a bit more calm. Especially because they pit on the end of lap 8, so they're doing an 8 and a 9. So they're going to have absolutely murdered tyres at the end of this stint. Now Squidly with the hard task of working out when he makes the pass stick. He knows it's going to be hard to pull away from that Audi because it's so fast.
Especially when you pass him, he's going to have the Audi in the slipstream. Make that thing even more powerful on the straights, and even a harder task to defend.
That's right, and we're not sure how it goes in the slipstream yet. We haven't really had the chance to analyse that. But Audi possibly being great in the slipstream as well. With just enough straight sections in this track, or maybe not so much straight, but
he's run wide, dive bombs. Coming out of the left-hander after the Dutch chicane.
He's given Squidly the lead there.
Now we get to see how powerful the stream is with the Audi.
I don't know if Squidly's muted the chat to focus or if he's listening, but if you're listening, Squidly, go man, go. Bring home this W for us, Squidly. Do it for the commentator boys. So the top two, they're bringing 14-second gap out to Nightwalker in 3rd, who's driving a relatively clean race, just sticking by himself, not really putting a foot wrong, old Nightwalker, and that's what we've come to expect from him, seeing him drive in the previous seasons. Very cool, calm and collected, manages his tyres and fuel quite well, and is just very consistent overall. It's a battle for 5th. We've got Rexy and Ripdoc still going at it.
I think Con ran a bit wide in the background there.
It looks like Con's trying to latch on here. Con's possibly looking on possible for a 5th place here. I'm not sure that any of them are close enough to get a 4th unless we see a mistake from K-Boy, but I think we're going to see a great battle for 5th towards the from now until the rest of the race, really. They're all within striking distance. Oh, as Rex has gone wide. Rex has got all 4 on the grass there. He's going to concede both positions.
That's going to cost him a lot of momentum now on that straight.
Yeah, he's going to have dirty tyres here for the braking for turn 1. He's gone into the pits. He is low on fuel, so Rexy was always doing a 2-stop. I didn't pick up on that based on his fuel load. He was very low on fuel, as Con absolutely sends the move up the inside of Ripdoc.
Coming to the pits.
So Con gone from 7th to 5th in 2 corners. So Con's going to now be looking to bridge that gap. He's already got it out to nearly it's now at a second. Second gap to Ripdoc. Ripdoc looks like he's used a little bit too much tyre. We did see Con pit quite late in comparison. extra 1 or 2 laps later from memory. So Con's going to have the fresher tyres. He's going to be able to just drive away at this point, I reckon. Ripdog's fallen a bit too far back in the slipstream.
Yeah.
So Con capitalising on an earlier incident, getting himself back into 5th. That's great to see. Well done, Con.
Little good battle going on with Dive Bombs and Squidly, maintaining a 1.7 gap on the lead.
Yeah, you can kind of see GRT Dive Bomb's tyre wear coming into play now. I think he's pushing really hard to keep on the back of Squidly. Their tyre wear was relatively even 2 laps ago, and I think that dirty air is forcing a bit more understeer from that Audi, possibly making GRT Dive Bombs just scrub out his front tyres.
You are having to turn a bit harder in the dirty air to make the car meet the apex.
Yeah, so Squidly getting some rear tyre wear with that Audi. That Audi just has brand new rear tyres always. I think if I was GRT, I'd be flicking my brake bias all the way to the rear, trying to use a little bit of rear tyre grit while it's there and save the fronts. You just have to manage the car wanting to rotate on the entry to some of the trail banking
He's hit the wall coming out of this and that's
one.
cost him a couple tenths. Gap is now bridged out to a 1.2 gap.
We are coming into a long flat out section where the Audi is going to have the opportunity to stretch its legs though. They're possibly going to be able to make that time and claw himself back into the slipstream zone. As you see him absolutely peeling chunks of time out. That Audi is an absolute monster in a straight line. Both of them quite clean through there. Not seeing the top guys make too many mistakes through there. Can't really say the same about the mid-pack. We've seen a lot of wheels off and a lot of cars hit fences around there.
Speaking of that, we've got Ripdog again, who's gone wide.
Yep, we'll bring a replay of that for you. Ripdog's just put the power on a bit too early, I reckon, and sailed wide, collecting the fence, giving Con 4 seconds of breathing space there. So Ripdog just braking probably a bit too late, not quite swinging in. Swinging in a bit too hard, I reckon. Just not scrubbing enough speed off, just to be able to point the car in the right direction. Just collecting the fence. Hasn't resulted in any damage, but it did lose him a chunk of time. So with 3 laps to go, we've got Squidly leading the way in his Inc Motorsport BMW, followed by GRT Dive Bombs in the bright green Audi. He was our race 1 winner, started from the back at this race, managing to find himself the lead by, I think it was lap 2, and then by lap 3 having a 4-second advantage. So Squidly doing a fantastic job to chase him down and take the lead there. Just to sort of put his head down and bring that BMW home. Nightwalker running his own race in 3rd. He's got no one in sight, really. So Nightwalker, fantastic drive, keeping out of trouble, especially in those early few laps. Managing to net a 3rd position. It's a great result for Nightwalker there. Same can be said about K-Boy, who's got massive space around him in 4th. I think as long as everyone keeps it pretty clean, the positions are going to be relatively settled for this race at the moment. The only close battle we have is for 6th. We've got the Antichrist, who pit late, so he's got fresh tyres, trying to put the pressure on Ripdog, who we've seen just make a few mistakes there. Ripdog was shaped up to really look good for this race, starting up near the front. Unfortunately managing to collect a false starter who joined the race late and managed to relegate Ripdog from 2nd to 3rd on the starting order. Possibly could have seen the race shape out very differently if that wasn't the case, as Ripdog with his great launch possibly could have gone straight into the lead and just driven away. Squidly absolutely accelerating that. Oh, we've got GRT Dive Bombs in the pits. GRT Dive Bomb has dived into the pits.
I think this is now costing the race now, because this is what happens when you push a little bit too hard in the race.
I think he may have just known he wasn't going to get around the track fast enough to keep up with Squidly. And with the gap back to Nightwalker, he probably knew. I don't think he took any fuel on, so that was purely tyre related.
I think what cost him is he held that first stint a bit too long. Probably should have pulled in around lap 6, and then probably should have done a second stint probably around lap 14.
Yeah, I agree. I think a 2-stop possibly would have worked very well for Dive Bombs. You know, he had a 4-second lead from Squiddy, which basically turned to 0 in the last stages of that stint. So if he did that twice, you know, that's him losing about 8 seconds. We could have seen a very different result here if he managed to two-stop properly. But Squiddy absolutely controlling the race now in first with a 10.7 second lead. He's got 1.5 laps to go, less than. He can afford just to dial it back a notch, just make sure he's comfortable, not make any mistakes, and net himself a win. Squidley's going to be commentating the Div 1 race, which is going to be following after this at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. He's going to be joined with Rexy. He's also in this race. So I think GRT Dive Bombs probably just grabbed some fresh tyres because he knew he couldn't catch up to first. He had the space behind him to warrant it. And on low fuel, I think we're going to see him just push for a fastest lap.
Yeah.
It's probably just the way he was going to enjoy himself the most.
He's already pulled down a second in that one lap, but like we've already previously discussed, yeah, I think he's just left the pit stops a little bit too late.
Yeah, I think this does give us a little bit of intel as well on just how much of a time difference there is between the undercut laps. So GRT making 2 seconds on 1 lap there, and Squidley's tyres 8 laps old. So the undercut's not quite out of this. I think a 2-stop and a 1-stop will be right even if managed properly. As we see GRT setting a purple sector there. 0.065 up on his current best of a 146.5. Just for comparison's sake, Squidley's also set a 146.5 in this race. Only the last 2 digits are an 8.8 and not a 6.2. So the BMW and the Audi, very quick around here. Absolutely flying around here.
That's another 1.5 seconds from Dive Bombs, and he's nearly a full lap. It's another purple sector, 0.05 up on the fastest lap set by himself already.
It doesn't look like we've had too many order changes down the list there, except we do have the Antichrist putting some massive pressure on Ripdog here, making a late charge for 6th place. We'll get on board with Squidley quickly just for the finish. The man's driven an absolutely fantastic race. He's brought the BMW home in first position. Well done, Squidley, doing it for the commentators. GRT coming from last to second. We've got to commend that effort, that's great. Also dialed down the aggression a bit, which I think helped him. He didn't need to be too aggressive in this race, and it managed to net him a 2nd place. So overall on points, I think that would give GRT the win. Nightwalker comfortably home in 3rd. Plenty of breathing space around him. Same as K-Boy in 4th. I can't see Con losing a position here either. So Con bringing home 5th. Well done, Con. Very late pit stop, but managed to make it work for him.
You look good battle.
And the Antichrist has managed to jump. Doc. So late race heartache for Ripdoc, who lost his 6th position there. Coming home in 7th. Probably
Rebel
a weekend to forget.
Troy in 9th. We've got Rex in 10th, who had a couple of mistakes. A little bit further back, we've got Hammy in the one only GT86. He's going to chuck a goat across the line.
Yeah, I thought that car might have been a little bit better around here. Maybe Hammy just not quite finding his rhythm. Maybe having some incidents early on with other cars, as he seemed to be running his own race pretty well toward the end. So I'm not sure where all that time loss came from. And Rob Widd, who didn't unfortunately make the entry for race 1, rounding out the field in 12th there in that mobile BMW.
His own little race here, trying to beat the time to the finish line.
Yeah, I think he's just using the time just to get some practice in.
Yeah.
And there we have it. There are the results, all locked in there. Squidley bringing home the win. Fantastic drive. Squidley going up 10 positions. Not a bad effort, Squid. I think we might be seeing you in Div 1 very shortly. So that brings an end to our Division 2 exhibition round for between Season 4 and Season 5 in Wheel to Wheel. We will possibly bring another exhibition round to you next week, but for now we have our Div 1 exhibition round coming up, which is going to be streamed to you by Squidly, Rex Buckingham, and we're going to have the one and only Vintage Racer doing the visuals. So tune in for that. There's going to be some great racing. If Div 2 is anything to go by, Div 1's just going to step it up another notch, and we're going to have some fantastic battles. Get yourself some food, grab another cold one, and enjoy the stream. I've been Footner, and here with Pagani.
And I've got fun moves as well for the visuals. If you're new to the Wheel to Wheel League and you want to get involved, message one of the names you saw on the screen. Also be sure to leave a like on our Facebook page at Wheel to Wheel Racing. And yeah, with that all being said guys, we shall catch you in the Div 1 race.